Okay, when I was a little boy, I wanted to grow up and be an astronaut. No, thank you, no. You've heard the tagline, "In space, no one can hear you scream." Well, this movie makes it a reality. In case you haven't heard, Gravity is the new film by director Alfonso Cuarón. So George Clooney and Sandra Bullock are two astronauts, and they are out on a standard space mission, and then someone says, "I have a bad feeling about this mission." And I'm like, me too, because I saw the trailer. There turns out is a problem. Pieces of a Russian satellite have exploded, and it's sending debris towards them like bullets. And needless to say, bad things happen. That's really all I can reveal about the story, but not to fear, because there is so much more creatively here to talk about. Alfonso Cuarón is the director who has had recent underground acclaim for Children of Men. Here he brings back some very unique special effects and camera tricks to build a crazy amount of suspense. From the very beginning, this movie makes you feel as though you are actually in space in a way that you have truly never felt before. You feel both a sense of awe at the scope and beauty of your surroundings while being breathlessly afraid at the same time. I was on the edge of my seat from the very beginning, even before bad stuff was going down. You just feel so nervous from this sense of weightlessness and the lack of friction. The thing that makes Gravity so scary is how realistic this movie makes being in space feel. In space, when something pushes you off and you have nothing to grab onto, you will keep going, and there's this very real sense of terror that's almost the opposite of claustrophobia, where it's like, okay, I am spinning, and I am not stopping, and there is nothing! If you're afraid this is going to be another open water type of story, I'd say that while there is a comparison of having very few characters that are isolated and fighting for survival, the film has enough twists and turns and moves along with such intensity, there's never a sense of it feeling unnecessarily long or boring. Both Clooney and Bullock are naturally likable, and while they don't particularly stand out in their roles, they meet the criteria of being characters that we genuinely care about and want to see make it out alive. There is a section in the middle of the film that I can't really talk about without giving too much away, but I can say that it did feel just a tad emotionally manipulative. It's something that was used to motivate a character, and while I think it was completely necessary for the story, my knee-jerk reaction was pretty hostile. But only because you're such emotionally invested in the characters, and honestly, I actually really admire the movie for making such a bold move. Gravity isn't just one of my favorite movies of the year, it's one of the most immersive and intense films I've seen in a theater in a very, very long time. I saw this movie in IMAX 3D, and while I'm usually pretty against 3D, I highly recommend seeing it this way. It's a gimmick, but it is used to optimal effect here. When there's debris just floating all over the place, I was dodging and seeing it in IMAX really gives it a sense of scope and really immerses you into that experience. Now, I see a lot of movies, and after the movie's over, I'm usually fine. After this movie, I felt like I just needed to walk around for a little while. I mean, my nerves were shot. The fact that it's so visually stunning and immersive, as well as being completely emotionally compelling, that it completely deserves an A. Definitely would see it again, but I think I'd need a little bit of time just to let myself recuperate. So you're gonna take my advice and see it in 3D? You should. Or are you gonna be stubborn and get robbed of an experience? Next time I'm looking up at the stars and someone says, "Wouldn't it be amazing to be in space?" I'm gonna say, no!